The National Economic Council meeting is currently underway inside the council chambers of the presidential villa. Governors of the states are all in attendance in the meeting that will deliberate on issues affecting the economy, especially with regards to the hardship caused by the removal of fuel subsidy. President Bola Tinubu had ordered a review of the 8,000 naira conditional cash transfer as part of palliatives to cushion the impact of subsidy removal, and also an immediate rollout of the government's intervention plans. It is expected that this NEC meeting will deliberate on how the proposed palliatives will be disbursed among the poor and vulnerable in the country. And TVC News State House correspondent joins us live from the presidential villa, where he has been monitoring proceedings of the ongoing meeting of the National Economic Council. We have Femi Akande. Femi, the question on the lips of Nigerians is how soon respite will come after the removal of subsidy and another increase in petrol price.
Well, the answer coming from the presidency is that very soon that respite will come. We already know that President Bola Tinubu has ordered a review of the 8,000 naira conditional cash transfer that was meant to be palliative to cushion the impact of the fuel subsidy removal. There was a huge outcry over this government decision. Some people felt that these monies could have been diverted to infrastructure and other kind of interventions that would have a far-reaching impact on the generality of Nigerians. Eventually, President Bola Tinubu listened to the views of Nigerians, and he ordered a review of that. But what he is also saying is an immediate rollout of government palliative plans. We expect that at the end of this National Economic Council meeting, we will hear formally and firsthand the decision and plan of government to roll out these palliative programs, these intervention programs, what the programs will look like, what it will be, who gets what and how and when. All of these are things we expect to hear at the end of the National Economic Council meeting, where we have state governors in attendance and other members of the economic team in attendance. We are also expecting that, we would also hear the balance in the country's federation account and how these monies have been shared between states. All of that will also be announced at the end of the National Economic Council meeting. But most importantly is about how government intends to cushion the hardship caused by the subsidy removal.
And Femi, do we have any feeler as to, I know that announcement will be made at the end of the meeting, but do we have any feeler as to how far-reaching this intervention will be beyond the palliative measures?
Well, we do not know exactly what these interventions will be. We know that it would be in some substantial quantities different from the 8,000 naira conditional cash transfers to the vulnerable. We already know that fertilizers, the federal government has also ordered the release of fertilizers to about 50 million farmers across the 36 states of the country and the Federal Capital Territory. We expected that the kind of interventions we expected would be in forms of maybe mass transit, commodities and all of that. We also know that the federal government is working with a commodity exchange board to ensure that they regulate pricing of goods and services, especially foodstuff, to regulate the price to ensure that it is not out of reach of the poor and vulnerable. So we expect all of these interventions. Not all might come directly in forms of hardware. Some might come in forms of policies and some kind of laws that will be created to ensure an enabling environment to ensure that goods and services are not out of the reach of the common man. Precious.
And Femi, I can't let you go without asking you about that ministerial list. You know how Nigerians are eagerly waiting, for that list. We've seen speculations, we've heard speculations, but what more can you tell us today? Are we going to see that list being sent to the National Assembly this week?
Well, Precious, the ministerial list remains in the realm of speculations, like you rightly said. I know these speculations have also been quite widespread. We're hearing sometimes some people will say it's been sent to the National Assembly, but what the presidency is saying is that the President Bola Tinubu, will act within that time frame provided by law, within which he should send the ministerial list to the National Assembly, and he's still within that space, and they are just asking Nigerians to wait patiently with fingers crossed. We cannot speculate because we may not, our guess may not be correct or accurate, but we're just still waiting for that time to elapse. He has about a week to go. We're looking at before the end of this week and most likely next week, but certainly before the end of that time provided by law, that ministerial list will be sent to the National Assembly for screening and confirmation. We'll keep our fingers crossed and wait, Precious.
And that time is now 8 days, so within 8 days, we hope to get information on that list. Femi, I know you have to go as the National Economic Council meeting is on. We expect more updates from you subsequently.
Thanks, Precious.